Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Fingered Cat, back with another 30-day Christmas card making challenge. Today's theme that Martin's given us is Woodland Wonderland. That sounded awful. Woodland Wonderland. I think that's how you'd say it. You know when you've just had a really long day and you're now starting to film, not film, but do voiceovers. Brain not working. Oops. Right, so I decided to go with this quite old stamp set from Creative Stamping Magazine. I've had this for ages and it's got one of my favourite stamps, which is the stag head. I don't use that. But it's also got these kind of like birch tree looking, bare tree trunk type look. And I thought, could emboss those as an emboss resist and then could maybe create a little woodland scene. So that's what I'm doing. So I literally just use this one stamp and then do very similar to technique to what I've done on previous videos where I've done like a scene and a winter sky or something along those lines. I go in with a couple of different colours of distress ink and then I go over with black soot. This kind of gives a Northern Lights, Aurora Borealis, is that how we pronounce it? That kind of look. That's what I'm kind of going for here. Now, actually, now my brain's thinking about it, why are these tree trunks white? I have no idea, but that's what I went with. I'd torn a post-it note, like quite a large post-it note, in order to create my little winter scene with the snow, and now I am sort of like trying to create a sort of shadowy type thing coming off the tree trunks. I've obviously post-it noted the moon. I'm now going in with water splatter and sort of like just bleaching it out to give it a sort of a starry, snowy sky. Now, that stamp is a little bit smaller than the width of that panel. So I do go in with what's it called? A guillotine in order to just chop it down a little bit so that those tree trunks go further up into the sky than you can see. If that makes sense, so they don't just stop and they've not all been chopped off. I am, of course, wanting more splatter because, you can't have too much snow. So I decided to bring in, at this point, the gesso. So this is just plain white gesso. I think it's a Dale Rowney one or something along those lines. No, it's Winsor & Newton, ignore me. But yeah, it's just a plain gesso. It just gives a nice sort of like chalky white. It does absorb a little bit of the colour that's coming through, so it's not completely and utterly totally white, if I'm honest. I decided though, instead of stamping my deer, I thought I would use this little tiny die cut. I've had this die for a good few years as well. I think I probably bought it from the range. I think it's an X-Cups one. If anyone spotted the packaging just then, it whizzed in and whizzed out of camera. But yeah, I cut it 3 times from the black cardstock so it makes a nice little chunky embellishment. And this little stag is going to sit on that hill. He does need a bit of shading underneath him just because, he will create shadow. So I did a little bit more ink blending, and that pretty much is my panel for my front of my card. Now, obviously, I've got to let that little bit of gesso dry. And then I decided to stick my panel straight onto the black panel that I had created. I am then going to make myself a card blank. So at first I was going to make this into a long slimline card, but I end up making it into a standard card. I just then have to chop off the edges just so that it will go from edge to edge, from side to side. And this I situate it just slightly up from the centre, so it's more towards the top end of the card than the middle. And now I'm going to create a sentiment, and I went off camera for a little while there trying to work out what to do. I decided to do some foiling, so I took the camera off because this takes a while to both set up the machine and to get it heated, etc. And then whilst I've got it running, I might as well do a few lots. So I actually ended up doing four lots of each of the sentiments, but some of them do not foil so brilliantly, and so they do end up, some of them just being the underneath when I go to stack them. But you'll see there that I've done a couple of panels in black. I then do a green and a red, just because whilst I've got it out and heated up, I might as well. I think I take this off camera again in a minute. There we go. But yeah, I do green and red. Obviously, I'm not using those on this particular card, but I was just showing you that, you know, once you've got it up and running, do a batch of them and then pop them in a pouch later on. So later on I will die cut the rest of them out, and then I will, if there's ones that need to be stacked, I'll stack them with the glue and then leave them to dry, and then I'll pop them into a pouch so that they're ready to go for a future one. I just run out of this particular type of sentiment, and I really wanted, to be honest, I don't think I've used that foil before, with the sort of, it's slightly champagne-y silver. I don't know, maybe it's a platinum colour, I don't know. It's not quite silver. I don't know how to explain it. It's got a slightly pinky hue, but it's really, really pretty. I just wanted that for my card front. I wanted that bit of silver. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It was quite a simple card. Stamp the same image 3 times, bit of ink blending, bit of die cutting and a bit of foiling. Not difficult at all. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do subscribe to see future videos. Please like this one if you did enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, bye bye.